All right, everyone listening, this is podcast number 3 for Day Job Hacks, and we have a special guest, like I mentioned we would, and we have Julio Medina from Monster Ads, and he's going to give us some insight on his perspective of the industry. You know, we've talked a lot about affiliates and advertisers and stuff like that, but we've never really had anybody from the CPA world, on the main scale like Monster Ads is kind of give us a background on, what they think of a lot of the stuff we're saying and, what the industry is looking like from their perspective. Also, Joey Babineau, the owner of Powerhouse Affiliate and Day Job Hacks with us as well. How you guys doing?
Good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So my thing is how has affiliate marketing been this year from a CPA perspective?
I think the landscape's completely changed to, when you think about 5 years ago, you're seeing a ton of, people are moving towards the white hat e-com offers and things that are just more stable. As far as lead generation, you see in your news feed, if you're interested in any topics that are like affiliate marketing and performance marketing, you start seeing, all these gurus have popped up and they're pushing more agencies. Everybody wants to start an agency that does lead gen or some, moving towards Shopify and having your own product and developing your own assets, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think there's been a big change.
That's interesting. I feel the same way. I see a lot of those ads coming up regarding Shopify, drop shipping. And it seems like the most logical step for major affiliates who have a lot of traffic and leverage is to start thinking about building their own products out. So what is it that Monster Ads, I guess, offers that kind of, is different, I guess? What do you guys do more? So I know that you guys have been around forever and you guys are a well-respected network online. So I guess, how do you see the affiliate model changing? And is it beneficial that you guys offer some benefits that would keep people in the realm of CPA and performance marketing?
Oh, for sure. I think, no matter what, affiliate marketing is not going anywhere. You leveraging other people to push something, to push a product it just makes sense. And so I think there's going to be, you have your evergreen niches that are going to just survive. The lead gen will always be around, and it might make sense for you to leverage a network. Dating is evergreen. We actually have been working out on our Smart Link now and making it global. So no matter what geo you're sending traffic from, depending on the source, we can just redirect it to top performing offer. But things like that, sometimes that makes more sense if you're in the affiliate marketing space than going direct to use a network. So depending on the geo, I think it just or what you're actually promoting, it makes sense to use a network. But even then, it's always been preached that you should be working on your own assets and you should have some long-term things that you own so that you can control that instead of putting all your eggs in one basket. And I think that's something that it gets easy to do, because if you have a winning campaign, it's just like, how much more money can I throw at it and scale it? And then if something happens to that, or something happens with the advertiser and it goes away, you're left empty-handed. Where if you have your own assets that you're building out, you have some leverage there as well.
I'm super glad you said that, because a lot of our training inside Powerhouse Affiliate talks about the two models, which is, you've got the smash and grab, buy traffic and hit these offers hard. And big affiliates do that. We buy traffic from Facebook, Google, and we hammer these offers. But then eventually, everybody starts to figure it out. You go to these events, everybody's talking about it at the table, and then all of a sudden it gets saturated. And the affiliates that really win in the long term are the ones that seem to be building brands or authority websites around a niche, so that they have that leverage later when the offer maybe dies. But we always encourage people to, I guess, use networks for their, payments on time. You guys are doing all the legwork. You're going out finding advertisers for us, and we're just kind of hitting the traffic as fast as we can. At the same time, the big ones are winning with assets, like you said.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Well, and we pay weekly net 5, which it's really great for somebody that's looking to, if you get into something and it gives you the ability to scale instead of waiting 30 days for your payment. So there's a lot of leverage there too. But I think the biggest thing is learning early on, because I think that, again, if you look at 5 years ago, it was buy a subscription to a spy tool and rip and run and just go at it. And we're not there anymore because people, consumers are smarter. People that are scrolling Facebook are way smarter to pick up on that stuff. So you have to, if you can just be even the least bit creative and set yourself apart from what you know is working, you set yourself up that much more. So learning those basics.
Exactly. And a lot of those rip and runs, it happens rampantly through the industry, rip and run, right? But as an affiliate, if you can build something that makes it more work for those rip and runners, because most rip and runners are super lazy. Yeah. So if you just put a little effort in and create some content around a topic and have a long sales funnel behind it or an email follow-up sequence, most of these, that's where you're making a lot of your money, like building a back end for yourself as an affiliate.
Well, I can't let you guys just sit here and trash rip and run. I'm sorry. I do. I'm a fan of rip and run. I think it has its place though. And here's an example. If I want to get into, say, I want to test this offer and I want to get into a market I don't know much about, and I can go ahead and design a landing page from scratch. I can go ahead and pay somebody to design it. If I don't have any insight on what's going to happen when I test, I don't really have a pulse, I guess you could say, on what's going to happen. I'm wasting time and money. So I'm that guy that likes to rip and run. And what I'll do is I'll rip and use that as a baseline. I obviously change some things. I don't want to rip anybody off per se, but instead of me reinventing the wheel, let's look at what my competitors are doing. Let's use similar elements on my page. And then from there, I'm going to use that as a baseline. And then I'm going to try to crush their number with something that I can come up with myself. But I guess there's a place for it, but it's still frowned upon. But if we're talking real, that's what happens a lot in this industry. So
yeah, there's no hiding that fact. You're right. You're absolutely right. I think
you can't escape it. And there is, like you said, there's benefit to using it. You're setting yourself up for a competitive advantage by using spy tools and seeing what everybody's doing. So, for the most part, a lot of this stuff is the same. So when you do learn, like with what you guys are teaching, with Powerhouse Affiliates, when you learn the basics, then you can apply that to anywhere else. So using a spy tool, and not necessarily even rip and run, but use it to see where the trends are going, see what people are using on their landing pages. It just makes sense.
I totally agree. It's funny because when you do search up these campaigns and you tend to go to CPA networks and you find an offer, and if you just plug it in, like you said, you'll see a bunch of trends. And like Bill was saying, if you change the traffic source or you change a few tweaks, you can actually turn it into your own real solid site. But Bill, like when you rip and run, which I'm not saying I don't either. I'm just saying, but like, what are you looking for? Like, are you going for? Are you looking up just an offer on the network, or are you gonna kind of look at the best EPCs and then plug it into your Adplexity or whatever tool you're going to use there? AdBeat, is that still around?
There's a few. I haven't been touching spy tools lately, to be honest. Pixels have made my life real easy because all I have to do is start at Google, find a niche that I'm kind of interested in spying on campaigns with, type some stuff in. There's a 90% chance some of those results are going to have me Facebook pixeled. I'll go back to my Facebook timeline. I could even get into their cart and add something if I want to. I want to get to the very end. And if it's on the Shopify side of things or some other platform other than like an advertiser's portal, you're going to get pixeled. You're going to see their ads across your Facebook timeline. All you got to do then is like them, share them, comment, and then you're in. You're going to see everybody's Facebook stuff. And I mean, again, like I'm not saying you should if you want to be that guy. Like, I mean, when I started in my early years, yeah, sure. Like if that's all it takes is me just to copy this, set it up and go and make a little bit of money, great. But what's probably limited me from getting to the lengths that I should be at maybe in my long-term career was the fact that I did that, because my most profitable campaigns have come from me being creative and being first, coming up with an angle nobody else is doing, and then you become the guy that everybody else is ripping, right?
It's true. And the other thing too is I think the diversity of traffic now too changes that whole landscape too, because you could rip somebody's landing page and run it on native. That doesn't mean that you're going to perform the same way they were, because it's just how much money they've probably spent to optimize their campaign alone. And so you see that a lot with push traffic. Like I said, like dating is a great example. It's an evergreen niche. Everybody's throwing some push traffic at these offers, and push traffic as a whole, I think, is just garbage for the most part, unless, depending on the source. But you see that, these guys think that hey, I can just throw, some money at these penny clicks and see what happens. That's not necessarily the case just because you see that somebody else was successful on it because they have been optimizing the hell out of their campaigns.
That's right. And it's the same on Facebook. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, I was going to ask more about what you're seeing because you said you also manage affiliates through Monster Ads and do business development. So speaking of like native ads and push traffic and all those domain traffic, what do you find? I guess something helpful for affiliates that are looking to expand through push traffic and native. What are you finding is the trend change? Like, is the trend changing from the the typical trial offer? The rebill, fire up an advertorial about some celebrity. Is that kind of changing now? Are you seeing more change moving, and are affiliates still maximizing push traffic doing that, or are they doing something like, what do you find affiliates are doing?
The guys who are running the trial offers and things like that, the guys that are successful at that are guys who have been in the space for a long time, and it's because they know what they're doing. They have the foundation set up. They have a team set up for their accounts. Because the accounts go down, they have everything set up, cloaking, all the things that they need to do, they have that set up. And so for guys that are just coming into the space or newer, they're much better off going to more of a e-com or lead gen or just a lot easier flow of an offer, because if you don't have all of those tools and all of the things that you need, you're just going to get crushed because your accounts will go down. You're trying to optimize your campaigns. It's just, there's a lot more happen to it.
It's funny because when you look on the top EPC offers, usually it's those trial offers. So people come into a network, they think, hey, look at these awesome offers. They must be converting like crazy. It's just a trial offer for keto or something, right? And they don't understand. So they just set up a campaign and they think they can just go fire it up on Google or Facebook. But really, like you said, you need a whole system in the back end. That makes complete sense. So have you guys started to move a lot of your traffic selection or offer selection to cater to the new model of e-com and products that convert well, like air conditioners, for example, the mini air, or you see them all now, like being pumped everywhere on Facebook? Is that kind of where you guys see some opportunity?
There is a lot of opportunity there. We have some really good e-com offers that are absolutely crushing it. And the reality is for people that are wanting to stay in the diet and just the Nutri space in general, straight sales. Some of our straight sales are converting higher with EPCs than some of the trials. So there's an option there. It works. You just have to have, like I said, you have to have all your ducks in a row, and you have to know what you're doing. That can still work. It just has to be done properly,
Are you finding affiliates are able to run white hat straight sale on Facebook successfully?
It depends. There, it's hit or miss. The guys, like I said, the guys that are doing it know what they're doing. They have the system in place. It can be done. We see it.
We did a case study actually on that. It was a lead gen case study. It's on Facebook, buying ads for a lead generation, like creating our own email list. And then in the back end, we were pushing the offers through the email list. So it was white hat Facebook, but it was still getting flagged because of their whole system is, now it's going to AI. So anything that you say about keto or diet or casino or whatever it is, male enhancement, all these offers are just instantly boom, like dead, and then you have to kind of fight for your account back. So it's good.
It's interesting. That's been an interesting thing this year. I've seen more complaints across the board in all the Facebook groups and things like that about Facebook just being a pain, with all the different disapprovals and having to, request manual reviews and things like that. And I think that's a big, it shows a big change in direction too, because I think they want you to request that manual review. And I think by nature, as affiliates, we're all afraid to hit that button. Even if you're running something white hat, you're still, if you're running lead gen that is just the most compliant thing ever, you're just afraid to hit that button by chance that they might, turn you down. It's funny.
Well, it's the worst part is that they might actually just shut your account down now. It's just like insta ban. They ban now and ask questions later, I find on some accounts. And I say this because when I first started and until recently, I've been running accounts that aren't in my name because back when I first started, I was like firing up my personal Facebook account and just, firing away at these offers and boom, account's dead, right? Never can have another Facebook account in my name unless I, create one. So it's kind of, I've learned that way. So now,
Yeah, I think everybody's learned that way.
Probably nobody in the industry actually has a Facebook ad.
Losing your first account.
I feel like there should be an award at the affiliate summit for anybody that actually has an original Facebook ad account in their own name.
Yeah, and they ran CPA offers.
Yeah, exactly. No chance. So one thing you mentioned when we first started talking, Julio, was the shift in the landscape, I guess you could say, of how things are kind of going. And just for some of the, I guess, greener listeners, what's the problem? Like, I know people are going over to e-com, but what does that really mean to the average affiliate? What's the benefits of maybe moving into something like Shopify versus CPA? Yeah, like can you explain that a bit? Like, what are the benefits, and like why is it so lucrative and appealing for these guys to kind of be making this shift?
So I think the biggest thing to think about there is that when you look at and it can be misconstrued sometimes too. So there's something great in creating your own asset. And creating your own asset, again, you're not relying on anything. It's your own brand. Nobody else controls it. You control it. But I think that again you saw a big rush last year and the year before where everybody was moving to drop shipping. They would find something and on AliExpress and just push. That's it. They would push that thing, and they never thought about anything else as far as building that brand. They were literally it was essentially the e-com version of rip and run. And to be successful and create your own asset doesn't necessarily mean just find some low, some high margin, low quality thing and just push it as hard as you can. When you're moving into that, I think the real value is in creating a real brand with real products that you can. Sure, I think it's great to again, just like testing with somebody's landing page that's similar. It's great to use. You might be able to use drop shipping to start, test it out, and then order more in bulk and create a brand out of what you're doing. And I think the success there is in finding something that you're interested in, and some vertical, some niche, some product, and then building out from there. It's the same as if you were to go 10 years ago when AdSense was big and creating niche blog sites. Some of those guys that stuck to it, regardless of the ranking, are killing it now because there's lead gen that just comes automatically from their ranking. And so if you look at it on the e-com side, I think the real value is in finding a product that you're interested in, finding a vertical that you like, and building it out from there. Because when you do that, you not only are you building that whole brand, eventually you can turn that into an affiliate offer. And then now you'll be able to leverage other people's traffic for your brand.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was one of the things that me and Joey have talked about more recently. And it's like you said, affiliate marketing is not going anywhere. CPA networks and CPA offers are not going anywhere, but things are still changing. I don't think it's dying. I don't think it's dead, but it's different. And we've been trying to kind of encompass, like, how are we going to introduce this? Because with this big shift of things, we've been hammering CPA for forever now. You know what I mean? That's what Powerhouse is. We've been bringing people in, we've been training them, we've been making money, and we want to stay in the space. So we're thinking, and Joey made a good point where CPA marketing, to a degree, and a lot of people will never get past this step or phase, but it's a stepping stone in a sense, because if you can have all the products you want in the world. You could have a Shopify store with 20,000 products with 1-day shipping, lifetime warranties, you name it, whatever it may be. But if you can't sell that product, you're no better than anybody else, right? So, it's almost like a transitional thing. So like if I have a campaign, let's say I'm pushing weight loss, let's say I'm heavy on the supplements, I played the trial game, I have my Facebook team counts, whatever, it's making me money. But I'm still at the end of the day selling another man's product instead of my own. Now I could transition into that maybe and say, let's push some fit watches because that's related to weight loss. The audience is the same. Yes, it's not the same product, but it still would probably work to a degree that with the additional data I'd have in the back, because that's one thing affiliates don't quite realize. And it's almost done in reverse. Like usually, you're going to have a sale, and from that sale, you're going to build your list. And then from there, you can hammer your list out, your email list. Well, affiliates don't have that advantage because they don't know what's going to happen after the sale. So they build their list first. and then push the CPA offer. And then eventually they're going to get onto that advertisers list as well. But yeah, I guess my point is that it's a great stepping stone to kind of move into being a product owner down the road. If you're generating all these sales, eventually you can just kind of swap out the CPA side and put in your own. Or in another case, you may ride that train out, because I'm telling you right now, double opt-in dating leads are never going to go to style. So
right. And I think you made a great point there. And as a stepping stone, it is a timeline. It almost creates a timeline for you to use that, because even just from a cash flow standpoint, it's a great way to jump into something, make some money, and put that, you can bootstrap your next product or your next brand or whatever you're trying to build. So it is, and not only that, it gives you, like you said, it gives you the idea of how all this is done, leveraging somebody else's business essentially.
Yeah, and it's funny because as an affiliate marketer that's been doing CPA for almost 15 years now, you get that affiliate mentality where we realize that to make a lot of money, you send traffic to a landing page or a lead page that you've created, and you smash it as hard as you can, and you optimize that page. And a lot of the e-com courses out there and all the methods being pitched are to go out and do all this legwork and find your product and, then set up your store. And people don't think about the end game unless you have an affiliate mindset where, okay, how am I going to get that traffic and where am I going to send it to? And you could send your traffic to your own store, or you could test on a CPA network and start smashing these offers and finding what's working. At that point, you're making pretty decent money, I think. You're buying traffic to a landing page. If the network's willing to share some data, which most networks are now, I'm sure you guys have probably shared some customer data with big affiliates to get them an audience on Facebook. Sure. It kind of, your mentality is you think, okay, well, now that I'm smashing this offer, I should probably just build it myself. That seems like the logical thing to do, because now you want to own part of the asset. But again, that's just kind of trading one thing for the other. Now you're trading yourself your time to build out this product that you're going to get shipped from China or wherever you're going to get shipped from. You're going to have all that extra work when you could have just kept hammering the offer. So doing that method, I think, is still weak unless you, like you said, building a brand at the same time, your own brand, and then you can start testing. And so what I was doing is actually recently is testing the drop shipping model with that mentality, where I would create a landing page and then try and smash it. But I ran on Bing ads, on Google ads, and I was getting some conversions, but a low amount of conversions doesn't make it worth my time, because I'm only making like, say, 20 or 30 bucks after all of this setup. And then if somebody complains, actually 1 out of like 10 people was wanted a refund. All this stuff that you had to deal with didn't make it worth it. So I'm almost under the impression that it's better to just go through the network and test out. As long as there's a large selection of good e-com offers, that method is going to work well. And CPA obviously isn't going anywhere, or performance marketing. I mean, it's just a model that's buying and selling. And but I guess what my point is I'm not super quick on just jumping into an e-com model myself, like setting up the flow.
They make it seem a lot easier than it is, and I don't think it's complicated, and I don't think it's complicated for guys that are already in the space to jump into it, that have experience. But somebody that's brand new, just to jump into it and think that it's just going to take off, and that's you just see all these people sharing screenshots of their daily. I made $5,000 today on Shopify. Yeah. But what they don't show
revenue.
You is the profit. They don't show you their profit margin, and so
or how they get traffic.
Yeah, and so they're it's deceiving, and so people, right. It's the dream. They're selling the dream. So right. It does make sense to to build it out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's like something I've realized with the e-commerce side of things, and like I mentioned in the last podcast, the brand that me and Joey are working on, the Homegrown Kings thing. If I was just kind of scouring through CPA offers and I seen a grow setup CPA offer, I probably wouldn't rush out to source everything to set that up and let's drop ship it myself, like whatever. But some people would, and I understand that. But I mean, my experience tells me not to bother doing that. But finding a niche and building something around it, like for instance, Joey and I, like with this whole Homegrown King thing, we're not looking to get rich in the next 30 days. This could be a multi-million-dollar company over the next 5 years as the market develops. So there is a place for ecom in that sense. I don't think it's great to just say, all right, well, you know what, just because advertiser A has this watch and I know I can source it, that's my path. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot in between with that. And I don't think Shopify is hard, but it's a hell of a lot more work than what they let on.
Yep. And it's a lot more work than going into a network, finding the top performing offer, and then going, just using that leverage there too, Right, so there's a place, there's just a place for everything.
Absolutely.
Right. And those offers are optimized. I mean, there's no advertiser out there that's just like, okay, here's a page I just built. Let's just let the affiliates have it. Like they've already run it. They've already made money on it. And they're at the point now where they're just going to scale by affiliate traffic. So, I mean, it's proven, right?
Yeah. And the nice part too is that just like with what you're saying, nobody's just going to throw, no advertiser is going to throw a page like that out there. And it's the same with methods. And I think that goes back to some people that are new in the space to learn. You can chase methods all day long that'll make you some quick money and then they go away. Nobody's going to give you their method to thousands of dollars a day just like that. They've made money on it already, and so they're giving it out because it's probably burnt out. So learning those basics and building up from there just makes sense. It's the way to go.
Yep, 110%. One thing I want to ask too is like, how can affiliates, if they want to run with Monster Ads, if they'd even like just to chat with somebody from Monster Ads to potentially see what you guys have, like how would they do that? Would you be the guy to talk to?
Anybody really. Like we're probably we try to stay pretty visual and across the groups, the affiliate marketing groups on Facebook. So yeah, you can reach out to me. I'm on Facebook all the time. Julio@monsterads.com, super easy email address to remember. But yeah, any of our guys, Jake or Erica, our affiliate marketing managers on the network, we're pretty easy to reach.
Okay, awesome.
Are you guys going to New York this year for Affiliate Summit or any
a few of us are, yeah. A few of us are.
Yeah, I'll be there too. I might meet up with you guys when you're there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I actually reached out to Frank yesterday, Joe, and he's ready to set a time. So I'll arrange that for you guys. Yeah, definitely get some talks in the works and all that good stuff, because I guess the more that we can kind of talk to the Monster Ad guys means the more Monster Ads offers we can provide to you guys listening to this podcast within our training, and kind of get things moving in that direction. And I will say this: a lot of the guys that we're reaching, I find within our training that have come to Powerhouse, they've never really been in the mainstream of affiliate marketing and don't really know anybody other than Max Bounty or some other weird third party thing. So I really do think having you here and having them be able to get a hold of you within our community is going to give them some opportunities they wouldn't have had before, because again, Monster Ads is one of the bigger networks. You can't really beat Net 5, guys.
How long have you guys been around, and how did you start? I kind of remember started way back with a different name, but can you just give me a quick rundown of how it all started?
They've been around for it's Ben Cagle and now Frank is they own it, but they started as Society Invite, which was an invite only network, and then it grew from there. But they've been around for over 10 years. Yeah, and it's been weekly Net 5 for over 10 years. So they don't miss payment. So we're established. We're here for the long haul.
Absolutely, yeah. I remember seeing Society Invite back in the day when I first started and wanting to be part of that network. And I remember back then a lot of the focus was on dating, I think.
Yep.
You guys have quite expanded your selection now a lot, I find.
That was so when they moved over, as we transitioned to Monster Ads, that was when they transitioned to adding more than just the main focus of dating, and adding all sorts of other offers in. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, what do you find is the hot kind of area for people to focus on now in 2019, aside from e-com, which is the obvious one that we just spoke of? But is there other areas, like we know the trial space is kind of dying up, I think, for some people, unless you can get some mids and some processing, and probably all of that is capped for the bigger guys.
Yep.
So where would the average Joe or just anybody looking for new offers, and they don't want to get their accounts banned and that kind of stuff? Do you guys have what do you find is working best right now? Lead gen?
In the white hat space, yeah, lead gen's never, again, and it's one of those things, it's evergreen. It's never going to go, it's not going anywhere, and it's an easy way to start off. So lead gen in in multiple verticals. And it really just depends. Again, it goes back to probably what you guys are doing with your training. It depends on, how much money you have to spend and what the payout of the offer is. But yeah, lead gen is a super great place to start. An e-com offer, depending on what it is and how you're going to promote it. And then, of course, just like what you were saying, how we started out, dating is evergreen and it's not going anywhere. But it also depends, how you push it depends on what traffic source you're using and the methods you're going to use. But
so
those
on
are
that
great places to start.
Right. So on that note, for dating, oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, he'll be refreshing. It happened earlier too.
Oh, okay.
Give him like 2 seconds.
So on that note, for the dating piece, I know now Facebook obviously has big changes. It's been a while since they've never allowed Facebook or dating on there. Google is getting a little harder. What if you have any advice for traffic for people looking to run dating offers these days? Are you thinking? What do you think is one of the best sources to look at?
A lot of guys that are the really well-established guys are using email. So depending on what methods you have to build a list, and that goes back to something else that Bill talked about earlier, is building a list. If you have a list that you've built out somehow, where for promoting that, and the other that's a really good method. Push is actually working really well for some guys, the guys that can leverage it. But I think again, it's one of those things that's a little bit deceiving in that it's not. Push is very much like native, where it's not like you could just throw some money at it and see what sticks. You really need better quality traffic.
So a lot of the guys that we had coming in back in the day were coming in and trying to direct link to these single opt-in offers by buying that shit traffic, right? Do you find that is how it's going, or are they using some more sophisticated kind of flows in order to get these single opt-ins?
So direct linking is not going to work. It's just not going to work. Just like it hardly works on Facebook. You might get lucky here and there, but really pre-selling something just makes more sense. You're going to get something higher quality. So with dating, it's the same thing. If you have to find a good landing page and direct them through that way. And that's where, again, in the dating area is where spy tools, it doesn't matter, because most of those pages are all the same. They all lead to the same, the same objective. So right. Using a landing page for sure, you never want to really direct link, because you have to think about it from where that person's coming from. Dating's a great thing, and it's really easy. But if you get a push notification, that you got, somebody's interested in you, or some method or whatever you're using in your copy, and it goes direct to the offer, it's almost that if I got that, I would leave. I'd be like, oh, this is spam. Now, if you sent me somewhere beforehand with some questions to pre-qualify me, like, is there, how many people are in the area that are around me, or whatever it is, what are my interests? Now I'm committed. It's those micro commitments, and so it's a lot higher chance of converting.
Yeah, and it's funny because kind of the same method that I was using for a recent campaign I was running for Game of Thrones, where if you try and direct link to a person directly to a single opt-in Game of Thrones offer, and you say, play Game of Thrones, and then send them there. Sometimes it works if you have the right traffic source, but it doesn't really work very well. So you get these survey-style micro-commitment pages where it's like, okay, are you old enough to play? Yes, right? Or whatever. And then it goes to the next question. And then you get them like 3 or 4 questions. At this point, they're just like, okay, hurry up. I want to play the damn game, or whatever, right? It's kind of the same idea with dating. So it's like,
exactly. And that also works with anything. That also works really well with lead gen too. If you've got a medical offer, or something in the legal space where you're pre-qualifying them, are you working with somebody already? Do you have this, do you have this wrong with you? Or is this, what way you're heading? They're going to be committed by the time they're done. They want to just put their phone number in or their email address in just to get it over with and get the service, as opposed to, you shoot them directly to some landing page that's just like, oh, put your email here and we'll call you back in 20 minutes. That's going to be like a big red flag right there, Right.
People find their like people when they go to a website, like the micro commitment thing seems to be working quite well, because it's like that mentality, I guess, you get where, okay, I've already spent 2 minutes doing this stupid survey. Like, why would I quit? Why would I quit now? Right? I may as well just fill in this finance lead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing too that I see that I find, I think the psychology behind this stuff is just so interesting. You know, where you have a progress bar, I put my name and I put my first and my last name in, and I have to hit next. And now you show me that I'm 20% done. Now I put my phone number in, and I'm magically 70% there. Well, I'm right there. I'm just gonna go ahead. You know,
Exactly.
it's natural, but I think it's so interesting.
Now that you say that, I realize that a couple of my biggest campaigns, even the offer pages, were designed that way, so that like the offer does it for you. But at the same time, as an affiliate, if you want to build yourself a list, you could start by creating your own lead gen page for the email, right? And then you get email and do that progress bar on the second page, and then click here to complete the offer. Boom, it sends them to the offer that you have on the network, and then they just start and go through that sequence, right? So you've just generated your own list. But again, that's something that's hard to copy. People aren't going to copy you. They're not going to rip you and try and set up a whole email sequence. Most people aren't. Like the lazy ripper.
There's a cool tweak to that too, where you'll see people that'll use GIFs, animated GIFs, and it'll be like checking in your area to see if there's availability, and it's like availability reserved for you only. Like it makes you feel like it's like legit helping you or whatever. It's just a GIF, right?
Your IP is qualified.
Exactly, right? And people just like that does work.
It really works.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, we'll have to do a podcast strictly on the psychology of advertising and habits, users' habits, and things like that.
That stuff is really interesting.
Yeah, most definitely. So I know we all have commitments today, and we're edging close to 2 p.m. my time, 1 p.m. yours. So we should probably wrap it up. So again, I'm going to get you to plug it. Monster Ads. You can get Julio at monsterads.com. And what was your Skype? You want to throw it out there for the interwebs?
Oh yeah, sure. It's just my name. So Julio.Medina, Medina, and then 4798.
Okay, so you can get them on Skype. A lot of guys are having problems, getting into networks because of maybe their geolocations. Like we actually have some guys in Africa area. We do have some guys in Thailand. We have some guys in Europe that are dedicated. They've been with the program for a year. They've been trying, but not a network will look at them because of their location. So might be something interesting to kind of help some of those other guys get out of where they're at and get into the mainstream with a solid, reputable network. Yeah,
absolutely. The biggest thing is the biggest thing into probably across all networks is when you're filling out an application to a network, just be honest. You know, if just be honest and give as much information as you possibly can, because you make the job of an affiliate manager that gets assigned that account, the job of it, you know, qualifying everything is that much easier. And when somebody's, you know, just starting off and they say that they're, you know, making $15,000 a week in earnings, of course you're going to be nervous then when I start asking you questions and you don't know what to say. So if you're just honest from the get-go and say, hey, I'm just starting off, but I have, you know, I have this, and this, I'm testing this, I'm interested. It's a lot easier to work with somebody that way than somebody that's just completely trying to flex fake stats.
Yeah.
So keep in mind.
Kind of what, it's better to have a plan going in before just wanting to sign, like, don't just go sign up to a network if you don't have a plan, basically, is what you're saying. It's better.
Absolutely.
And your plan might sound, you might think it's a stupid plan, but as long as you have a plan, I'm sure you guys are catering to these people that show honest, legit, dedication to the business, and they just want to try something, right?
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and we realize that.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yep. Transparency is key, and that goes across pretty much every level of this industry. If you really think about it, it really comes down to transparency. So, all right, guys. Well, that was a great podcast. The time kind of really burned through. We're up 40 minutes now. So, wrap
Thanks
it up.
That was awesome. I'll probably see you guys in New York coming up there. I don't know if you'll be there, but somebody, I'm sure.
I'm planning on it.
Yeah, I can't wait. It'll be a good time. But thanks a lot for joining. That's awesome.
All right, yeah, good time, guys.
All right, boys.
Cheers. All right, talk to you later.